Hello, good morning to you. We are live, we are live, we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning to you. Nice to see you. Happy day, because it could be whatever day that you'll be watching this. So thank you so much, everybody. I'm sorry I wasn't able to do the IG live yesterday, but I'm here today. We are here, we are live, and we are going on the series the joy of marriage God's way. The joy of marriage God's way. So okay, I hope you've been good. Please, I want to hear from you. Please share your comments in the comment section. Let's see, let me know if this is helping you in any way, if you're learning anything at all. Tag people that need to hear it. Married people, single people, tag them so that it can reach more people. Okay, so few days back, in episode 16, we're talking about the love needs of a woman in a relationship, the love needs of a woman in a relationship. And we talked about, the last one we're talking about was emotional intimacy. And the last point that we made there was that that the first step towards establishing emotional intimacy in marriage is to have two clean hearts committed to one another. Two clean hearts committed to one another. I mean, that is like heaven on earth, if that is the reality, whereby we have two clean hearts committed to one another in a relationship, to make it work. Okay, I'll just read on. It says, additionally, just like you, your husband needs to safeguard his heart against other women. Your husband needs, just like the way the woman to the wife would need to safeguard her mind, against other men, the husband also needs to safeguard his heart against other women. Let us loud it. Let us loud this point. In this day and age where there's a lot of side chick ministry, when single people are dating married men and all that kind of stuff, married men looking for what is not lost all over town. It says that your husband needs to safeguard, and it's his responsibility to do that. It's your responsibility as an adult. Whatever you want to create for your life is your responsibility to do that. Safeguard your heart, safeguard his heart against other women. So it must be intentional about it. The same way a woman, will be intentional. A man and a woman should be intentional if they want to honor the institution of marriage. Should be intentional about safeguarding their hearts against the opposite sex. So when conversations with the opposite sex, hey, good morning, sis. Wow, first time you're joining. Thank you so much for joining today. So we're talking about emotional needs, emotional intimacy, in marriage. That's what we're talking about. So I just read on. It says, thank you so much for joining. It says, when conversations with the opposite sex go from basic day to day to sharing more confidential issues, improper relationships can take root overnight. Let's put that point in there. When conversations, so these are the ways that the man can guard his heart, or the woman can guard her heart against the opposite sex, in order for to create to honor the institution of the marriage. It says that we need to know in your dealings with the opposite sex. Please, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up so I just know that the audio is good. So it says, when conversations with the opposite sex go from basic day to day to now sharing more confidential issues. This is the way. Now let's see. More confidential issues, improper relationships can take root overnight. So as an old English proverb puts it, the eyes are the windows of the soul. Ooh, the eyes are the windows of the soul. And ladies, you have seen this happen right before your very eyes. A woman sending signals to a man. Every woman understands it perfectly, but sometimes our husbands don't. Warn them about those signals. Too much flattering from a female colleague, or hugs, touches, or pats from a female friend. When you see these signals, gently and lovingly point them out to your mate in the privacy of your home. Okay, so in other words, I feel like, these conversations should be had. Like, we need to have more of these conversations, and we need to talk about it. In like on the 12th or something, we are having love and relationships talk. And I think with the singles and all that, we need to talk about all of these things, like safeguarding our hearts. How do we do it? When we say, oh, don't have extramarital affairs, or don't have multiple partners, don't do this, don't do that. There's a way to do that. There's a way not to be able to, be predisposed to that. There's a way to do it. Guarding our heart. It says our eyes, is the window to our soul. Let there be boundaries in our relationship with the opposite sex, the one that we're not in relationship with. Let there be boundaries. There are things like that, but then your heart must be in the right place whereby you don't actually want to do it, because a lot of times the intention is that they actually want to do these things, and they actually do it, and they just, there's no control in the mind or in the body or whatever. I just want to do it, and I'm doing it. Do you get what I mean? But then at the end of the day, there are consequences to all of our actions. But then, in this time and age, the family and the marriage is under a lot of attack, and it's high time that we are proactive. It's high time that we are intentional about what we are doing in our families, what we are doing in our marriages, what we are doing at home. Because if you look at the society today, a lot of times, the failure of the home is what we are seeing in the society. So in order for us, we need to actually get it right. We need to get it right. We need to have the right knowledge. These are tools, that we can use to be able to safeguard our relationships. So we'll just read on. Then the third point says spiritual intimacy. Another love needs that she needs is spiritual intimacy in a relationship. It says, women all across America tell us their third need is spiritual intimacy with their husband. Spiritual intimacy. Whether you're married or single, male or female, spiritual intimacy originates with our surrender to the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Ooh. Spiritual intimacy originates, that's where it starts from. Yes, what it's saying, with our surrender. Now we must get to that point. If you've lived long enough and you're still fighting with the Creator, fighting with the relationship, oh no, there's a God, there's no God, like, you have not started living yet. You've not started living until we get to that point where we come to that point in our lives and say, God, I actually surrender to you. Whatever you want to do with my life, go ahead. I surrender. Because at the end of the day, He's the Creator. He's the one that is the author of my life. So, you see, whatever He wants to use it for, please, go ahead. So, now, when we're not talking about spiritual intimacy in our relationships, it starts from us surrendering to the King of Kings, the very King of Kings and the Lord of all Lords. Okay, it begins when we pursue a relationship with the Lord. As a single, if you're watching this, or young people or something that you're watching this, or probably even married people that you're watching this, what is your relationship like with God? What is it like with God? You need to pursue Him. This is the new year, you need to pursue Him. It's not about going to church. It's not about being religious, no. But it's about having a relationship with Him. So pursue that relationship with Him in order for you to have, God in our relationships, in our families. Because at the end of the day, we've tried it our way. It's not working. We need God at the center of our homes, our relationships. So in other words, when it starts with Him, then we can be able to merge together and have spiritual intimacy in our relationships. You see, So many women long for a spiritual connection with their husband. Very true. But this takes two people invested and committed to their relationship. How many of us are invested and committed to our relationship? So this means that the wife pursues her own relationship with the Lord, while her husband presses forward with his relationship with the Lord. You see, so when two people join as one in this capacity, it turns a good marriage into a great marriage. It just amplifies it, it brings it up a notch. You see, that's the secret. It says, we all long for fellowship in our marriage. We yearn for our husband to be a spiritual sounding board, as well as our leader and guide. What an awesome thing. That's the divine order. But how many times, a lot of times, this is far from our reality. But there is hope. It says, we yearn for our husband to be a spiritual sounding board, as well as our leader and guide. For some men, discussing spiritual matters feels intimidating. Perhaps it feels inadequate or unqualified spiritually. So we need to encourage our husband to simply listen. We don't necessarily need answers. We simply need him to hear what we are thinking and to affirm those areas where he sees godly character being developed in our lives. So even for married people or for single people, if you feel like maybe it's the woman that is much more spiritually, a bit higher than the man, we should do it with grace in encouraging the other party, the spouse. We should do it with grace, not like forcing the other person or kind of, condemning them or criticizing them, because we do that sometimes. Like, you can't pray, or what are you doing, or this is it, and then more and more the person feels inadequate. So we should that, and that is not good. So that's why we need to have the right knowledge, anyways, to be able to know how to relate with one another and gracefully, get to the point that we want to get to in our relationships. So it says that we don't necessarily need answers. We simply need him to hear what we are thinking and to affirm those areas where he sees godly character being developed in our lives. So we also need him to encourage us to use our spiritual gifts, because we grow in the Lord as we utilize them. So we grow in the Lord as we utilize our spiritual gifts. It says, serve in a church nursery, volunteer with Meals on Wheels, if you have that in wherever you are, or mentor other women. So the more we utilize our gifts, the more we utilize whatever talents and gifts that we have for God, the more we'll see and the more we develop those gifts, the more we grow, spiritually. So that's what it's saying here. It says that volunteer with Meals on Wheels, or mentor other people, mentor other women or other people like that. It says, regardless of your gifts, when your husband affirms those areas you are involved in, you grow, you mature, and become more of the woman Jesus designed you to be. Okay, this is one reason you need a spiritual connection with your husband. It's a need in relationship. So if you're a man watching this, these are the things that the woman needs. And I'm sure we're going to go to what the man needs also. So just pay attention. These are things that the woman needs in order to thrive in a good atmosphere in the relationship, okay, and to have a spiritual connection with her husband. Then it says that spiritual intimacy, however, can be neglected if your husband fails to allow Jesus Christ to occupy the spiritual throne of his life. Hey, I'll read it again. This is deep. It says, spiritual intimacy, however, can be neglected. In a lot of relationships, to be honest with you, in our reality today, spiritual intimacy is neglected. Because because the male gender, has failed to allow Jesus Christ to occupy the spiritual throne of his life. This is the reality of a lot of people, a lot of us, really. And it says that the throne room in his heart that should belong to God sometimes become cluttered with the cares of the world, like work, managing finances, and other people, places and things. So when this happens, both of you are affected. The reality is that we don't even know that both of us are affected, but we are actually affected. Because you see, and that is why we need to put things in the right perspective, in the proper perspective, whereby, when we are thinking about marriage or in marriage, we should know where to put all these things, like work, managing finances, other people, places, different things like that. All of these things that can cause stress also, in our lives. We need to know how to manage all of those things, in order for it not to affect us. So it says that when this happens, both of you are affected. It says you need a man who is discerning enough to clear out what doesn't belong there and to reserve it only for the Lord. Hey, singles, are you hearing this? That you need a man who is discerning enough to clear out what doesn't belong there and to reserve it only for the Lord. It's very difficult to connect to a husband who isn't connected to the Lord. This is the reality of the matter. This is the truth of the matter. And marriage is actually very spiritual. So if in a relationship with somebody that is not connected to God, you feel disconnected. You feel very, very disconnected. It's very difficult to connect to a husband who isn't connected to the Lord. You also need a man who lives by example when it comes to the spiritual realm. You need to be married to a man who lives in private what he preaches in public. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Please share your comments in the comment section below when you watch this, because this is deep. I'd like to hear your views on this. It says you need to be married to a man who lives in private what he preaches in public. You need your husband to be a man of integrity. How many of us are people of integrity? Two people on a journey of spiritual intimacy grow together through prayer. So maybe you just need your husband to take your hand at mealtime and pray with you. Or maybe at the end of the day, you might say to him, could we pray right before we go to sleep? There's really nothing to bond you so securely as having your husband pray with you. This is marriage God's way. We're talking about marriage God's way. Having the joy of marriage. The joy of marriage God's way. And these are the ingredients. These are the things, building blocks that we use to build a marriage that is God's way. You see, prayer, spiritual intimacy. It says, and the author is reading now, is saying now, I'm just reading. It says, before our daughter Sarah got married, I challenged our future son-in-law, Scott, what if you prayed with Sarah every day before you got married up until the day you died? And do you know, Scott has taken my challenge and is prayed with Sarah every day. Sarah has told me it drives her crazy at times. You see, she likes to go to bed earlier than Scott. So he'll wake her up before he goes to sleep. He will tap her on the shoulder and say, Sarah, I need to pray with you. I want to take you before the Lord before we go to sleep tonight. The thing that bothers her the most is when she's angry with him. Still, he'll wake her up and say, Sarah, let's go before the Father. Let's pray together. She tells me, Mom, it melts me every time. So pray with your mate. Ask your husband to take the steps towards pursuing spiritual intimacy. It will make a good marriage a great marriage. Wow. Wow. What a joy. What a joy. That all of these things that we are reading, if we can begin to strive to put them into practice, how rich and how beautiful our relationships will our relationships be. Okay. Then the fourth one, we go to the fourth point. The fourth one says encouragement. Cleo, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. So we're talking about the love needs of the woman, but you've missed quite a bit, but you go back and watch it. So he says the next one is encouragement. Encouragement. The number 4 love need that women require is encouragement. Encouragement. There was a mom out of Morris, Minnesota, who told a 7th grade class one afternoon, "Put away your homework. We're going to get out a sheet of blue-lined notebook paper and write down all the names of everybody in class." So they did. Then she told them, "Write down one way that the other kids in your class have impacted you." And they followed through. She then took all those pieces of paper, brought them home over the weekend, took out 30 pages of paper, and wrote down the names of different kids across the top. Then she compiled everything that each of the students had written about the about the other children. So on Monday morning, she handed each student the piece of paper with positive words from their classmates. Immediately, she knew it was a success as she saw that each child was excited to read what others had said about him or her. Please, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Now, some 30 years later, one of those students named Mark Eklund went to fight for our country in Vietnam. If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up. For our country in Vietnam, and died while fighting there. When his body was sent back to Morris, Minnesota, good, thank you. When his body was sent back to Morris, Minnesota, many of his classmates attended his funeral. After, at the luncheon, Mark's father went up to the teacher and said, "When we were giving Mark's valuables, including his wallet, I looked through it. Inside the wallet was a lined piece of yellowed notebook paper that had been taped in several places. Obviously, read and reread several times. All of those positive things his classmates had said about him, he carried with him in his wallet." Now, that's the power of encouragement. Encouragement. Everybody needs to be encouraged one way or the other. Encouragement in our relationships. We need to be encouraged by our mate, by our spouse. We need to be encouraged. It says, when our husbands affirm us, when they remind us of how important we are to our family, when they say, "I think you're the best wife anybody can have," or, "Honey, I love growing old with you." I mean, that's so beautiful. Or, "I appreciate your care." I mean, I appreciate your care and attention to our family. It doesn't take much to encourage. It really doesn't take much. But do we do it? It says, "I appreciate your care and attention to our family." Those words are words taken to our grave. Just like that young man named Mark Eklund did. Encouragement. Very important. Encouragement. Most of the time in relationships, will come with to-do lists. Have you done this? You're supposed to do this. You do this. You haven't done this. This is what you're supposed to do. We complain. But we don't appreciate one another. If it is a little thing like this, "Good morning. Thank you for joining." Good morning. Thank you for joining. Everybody came late today. Good morning. Thank you for joining. So, it's so important that we appreciate one another. Kind words. We might not be, out there yet, but you're like, thank you for making lunch today. Thank you for cleaning up the room today. Or thank you for taking care of the children. Thank you for working so hard. Thank you for doing this or whatever. Encouragement. Encourage one another. God will help us to complain less. Even for single people, they say, the to-do list of the woman is she must be this, she must be this, she must be this. The man, he must be this, he must be this. We complain. To-do list. But we have a need to be encouraged. We have a love need to be appreciated in our relationships. Okay. Then the next point, we are talking about love needs, the woman love needs in a relationship. The next point is friendship. Friendship. Say friendship. If you are there, say friendship. I cannot hear you, but say friendship. I hope I pronounce it well. Okay, it says, the fifth love need of women is friendship. The truth is, we can't have friendship in our marriage if we don't spend time developing it. Boom. We can't have friendship in our marriage if we don't spend time developing it. So, in other words, in order for us to even become friends, we must be able to spend time together. And if we don't spend time together, we're just married, but we're not friends. So, we gotta do something about it. Here's an example of what friendship really feels like. After 40 minutes west of our house is the place where they filmed the movie, The Bridges of Madison County. It's a fictional story, but one of the characters is a man named Richard. Richard did not talk to his wife. He was a hard-working man and he loved his wife, Francesca, but he struggled to express it. A lot of times, men talk less. Men have difficulty expressing themselves because even as young people, they tell you, boys, don't do this, don't show your emotions, don't do this. So sometimes, that might be difficult to express it. It says, rarely did he talk to her, touch her, spend time with her, or praise her. Encouragement now. The story is simple. It doesn't meet our love needs. As a result, she becomes vulnerable and she falls to the attention and praise of another man. She didn't mean to have an affair, but rarely do people plan an affair unless you have become something else that you feel like, now this is what I want to be doing. This is it. But really, sometimes if your heart is actually right and you are okay in that relationship, you want to honor that relationship, that marriage, and anything, you will not say that you want to have an affair, But sometimes, because of all of this lack of the needs are not being met, we can fall prey. To be honest, we can be vulnerable. That's just the truth. You can be vulnerable. When somebody is telling you, hey, this guy, you're very handsome. Oh, you're looking nice today. Somebody that is kind to you, that is like, oh, you this, you that. Before you know it, your mind will just be gelling little by little. Say, hey, somebody is appreciating me. Hey, somebody is loving me. Before you know it, you'll be vulnerable. You see, even though you didn't mean to have an affair. So it can happen to anybody, really. It says, Robert Kincaid simply talked to her. He listened to her and he paid close attention. He laughed at her jokes. He picked flowers for her. He even cleaned up the dishes after a meal. He shared his world with her and asked about her. and asked about us. He offered her a drink with respect and courtesy. I mean, are you picking points here? Are you picking points here? He offered her a drink with respect and courtesy. Within a matter of days, Francesca's emotions were on fire. This is the way they are fanning flames of emotions. Within a matter of days, Francesca's emotions were on fire. This girl is on fire. Cleo said yes. And she struggled with the awful battle within her. But she lost the battle because she had been deprived of the tenderness and love of her own husband. And she turned to someone. And she turned to someone who could give it to her. In a more people, she not they hear, we they listen. Now, look at the time. It's even level 31. Can I finish this? I can't finish this though. Okay. It says, now, don't we all long for our husbands to be the hero in a script like that? Many times, we go into restaurants and we see couples who aren't talking because they are so disinterested in one another. They act as if they don't want to even talk to one another. We need the foundation of friendship. 11:31. You guys came late. Oh Lord. Let's see. It says we need the foundation. We need the foundation of friendship to go the distance in a marriage. True. This is true. Our marriages begin in friendship. If you are single today, start with on a platter of friendship. Just be friends with the person. You establish that friendship. Friendship, your friends. You see, I says, and our friendship is, it says our marriage begin in friendship. And friendship is the thread that will take us to the end. We need to be friends with one another, to be honest. To be honest. Tip for the day. Yes. Friendship. Be nice to one another. Simple courtesy. That's why we need to start training our children. I'm working on them too. To be, they call it something for men, chivalry. Is it chivalry or chivalry? Whatever. You get the gist. Simple courtesy. Simple courtesy. Very important. Thank you. Say please and thank you. Yes. Create, because you never know which one. You say, I'm going to start creating friendships with all my friends. Yes, so create friendships because you never even know which one. Friendships is, exactly. Friendship is very, very important. We start from friendship level. Some people, when they are interested in somebody, they will probably, all the emotions are raging before you know it, and they're already sleeping together within how many. Some people, they can even meet somebody the first day and they sleep with the person. You cannot build friendship on that kind of level. But start, friendship little by little. Say, it's a simple kind gesture. Oh, thank you, I bought this for you, or whatever. Something, friends, you talk. No pressure at all. No pressure. You are calm, you are honest, no pressure. You create a safe space. You are building something. But you must be patient, with time. You are building. These are building blocks. You are building, and that is why it's so important to join stuff like this, or even get this book, read it, get the right knowledge, so you can have the right tools, to be able to build your relationship. So I congratulate all of you for joining in, doing all of these things, and I pray and I hope that you will have awesome relationships, because it says when it enter your mind. It says when it doesn't enter your mind, it cannot enter your life. But as you are listening to all of this, it is entering your mind. And before you know it, when you want to act out, you just think about it. Oh, am I becoming a good friend? Is this a good thing to do? Is this the right gesture? oh, I'm complaining. I think I need to complain less. You know, let me be much more appreciative. Let me be more encouraging to somebody else. Let's just practice it. So everything that we have said today, you know, let's practice it. As we go today, let's say thank you to somebody. Let's love on somebody. Let's be kind to one another. Let's be kind. Yes. Let's practice all of these things. You know, it's all of these things are even good, not only even in marriage relationship, even to everybody, our clients, our neighbors, our bosses, our colleagues, our friends, you know, neighbors, anybody. It's good to be kind. It's good to be loving to one another. Our time is fast gone. I'm gonna be ending this podcast today, but tomorrow, now put it in the comment section. Should we do Q&A tomorrow, or I continue with the series? What do we do? So let me hear from you. Do we do Q&A tomorrow, and or I continue with the series tomorrow? Let me see what we have to say. So this one, we're talking about the 5 love needs of a woman, and we are on the, I think the 5th one now. Okay, we're on the 5th one. The last one is friendship. Okay, so I'm very sure that there's, let me see if there's the love needs also for the guy. I'm waiting for your comments. I think this I can't see the one for the guys, but I feel like this okay, so I should continue with the series. Okay, and then we'll ask questions as the series goes. Okay, cool, great stuff. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish this one today. Okay, cool. I'll continue with the series. So tomorrow I'll continue with the series too. Okay, cool. So let me just finish this friendship one, and then we'll round this up. It says friendship with our husband is different than friendship with our women friends. It says our husband needs to be our best friend. Our husband needs to be our best friend. But you know, in relationship, sometimes some people in relationship and feel like it's another kind of opposite sex is their best friend, not the person they're in relationship with. That is friendship with our husband is different than friendship with our women friends. Our husband needs to be our best friend. Women will come and go in our lives, but we need that one friendship. We need that one friendship to carry us through life. It will be the one who sees us through all circumstances. It's actually so deep. It's actually so deep. You're talking about this marriage, friendship, relationship is so deep, because through ups and downs, before you have kids, after you have kids, body will change, different things, they share memories together, different things, people will die, people will kill, different things, different experiences, different experiences. People will grow, you grow old. It's an awesome experience, to be honest. And you know, it shouldn't be something that it would be so like cat and dog. No, it shouldn't be something that it be so like be fighting every time. No, we don't want that. We want love in our relationships. Let me read the comment here. It says that Cleo said Chu. Sukri said, please loud that. Yes. Sukri also said that should be written in capital letters in the book. Is it? Well, it's not written in capital letters, but you know, it says, what else? Let me just read this. It says, when you have a friendship, it says, women will come and go in our lives, but we need that one friendship to carry us through life. It will be the one who sees us through all circumstances. When you have a friendship, you nurture it. Are we intentional about nurturing our friendship or friendship relationship? You don't always say everything you think. You delight in bringing out the best in that person, and you dream dreams together. We need our husband to share our dreams and ask us what they are. Share, not only share your dreams, but actually ask you about what are your dreams. Is so interested in what you have to say. That's what we're talking about. What they are. Let him know your hearts. Dream your dreams together. Set new goals. I won't be able to finish this today because of my time. Set new goals. If you have an empty nest, like Gary and I do, then it's more important then it's more important that you set new goals, just like you did when you were newly married. Oh, make sure you continue to reinforce the foundation of friendship in your marriage, so you won't end up like that couple sitting across the table in the cool stage, not knowing what to say to one another. We love to be around people we like. So make sure you spend time working through issues so you can develop the friendship aspect of marriage. I think I'm going to end on that note. I'll continue this tomorrow, and then we'll start the stuff tomorrow. So, people, try to join in early tomorrow at 11 a.m. GMT. What up for everybody? I will go back and look at all this and think about it myself, because this is also far from my reality, and I'm working towards it myself. So, thank you so much. I am Sucre, Cleo, Ivy. I saw other names there, but I think they've gone now. But thank you so much for joining today's broadcast. Don't forget to live every moment, love every day, laugh every day, and love beyond words. Let's be kind to one another. Let's show love, to one another. We need it. We need more love in our lives, in our relationships. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. And enjoy your day, and see you tomorrow. Okay? One love. Bye.